Hello again, authors. It's Mrs. Baker back again on this wonderful Wednesday, and I couldn't be more excited to be with you today to share with you my favorite part of narrative writing, and that is the middle. W is for wonderful. For Wednesday, it's also for writing with the 5 W's. The who, what, where, why, and when. That's right, boys and girls. Today, our lesson is all about the details. Look over to the left, find those big words, I can. Today we're going to talk about this goal for writing. I can add details. That's right. That's why I'm most excited. The details are what makes the story the best, right? You might be answering questions even before you start to write your story in what we call pre-telling. You may want to even tell your story to a grown-up, a brother or a sister, before you even write, because you know what they say, storytellers become story writers. That's right. So as you're telling your story, be thinking about who is there with you? Where are they? Meaning all the characters and people in your story. What are they doing? Why are they doing it? When are they doing it? I bet often after you submitted your writing to your teacher, if you're receiving the comments, you're also probably receiving lots and lots of questions from your teachers. I know after I read my kids' stories, there's always something more I want to know. So I usually ask them a question and sometimes they answer back. Another way to get those details in your story is to think about your 5 senses, those things that you see, hear, smell, taste, and feel. And so yesterday I shared with you different ways to start my story about my trip with my family to the Dunn's River Falls. Today I'm going to share with you how I use my 5 senses to help me write that story. So here you can see the same picture because it's the same story. And on every slide today, I'm going to share with you how I took one of our 5 senses and turned it into writing. So for example, when I was thinking about all the things that I could see while I was climbing the waterfall, this is what I was reminded of. As we climbed the waterfall, I could see everyone holding hands to keep each other from slipping off the rocks. And if I had more pictures to show you, it wasn't just my family. We went in a group of tourists and about 20 of us. And even if you didn't know the person in front of you or behind you, you still held hands because it was all about teamwork and safety. And so that's something I really remember seeing when I was climbing the waterfall. If I think about my sense of hearing, I could say, as we climbed higher, I could hear the sounds of the water crashing on the rocks beside me. I could hear laughter from my family as I wobbled back and forth. I can still hear it, and it still makes me laugh. If I think about my sense of smell, I could add this to my story as a detail. I could smell the fresh air and nature that surrounded me. And again, these are all ideas. Some of them may work in my story, others may not. If I think about my sense of taste, and yes, believe it or not, my taste was involved. This is what I wrote. I tasted the water on my lips that sometimes gave me a drink when I was thirsty. Yes, we couldn't take anything with us because we needed our hands to be free. And because it was fresh water, not salt water, it did actually quench my thirst. If I think about the things I could feel, I could add these details to my story. I could feel the slippery rocks underneath my feet as I tried to stand up straight. I could feel the cold water splashing on my body as the sun warmed my face. Again, focusing on that sense of feeling and thinking back to the time that this really happened now gives my reader, which is you, a lot of interesting information about what happened when I went to the waterfall with my family. Now, I'm not going to read the whole story back to you, but I encourage you to pause the screen and ask a grown-up if they would read it to you. I'm showing you in green, green means go, the beginning of my story, because remember, there are 3 important parts, the beginning, the middle, and the end. And I chose to use the sound or onomatopoeia words as to how I thought the water would sound if I was describing it in words. And I chose the splish splash beginning. And then everything that I just shared with you about my five senses became the middle of my story. Do you notice that there are lots more words in the middle of the story? That's right, because all of these details are what keeps the reader reading. It keeps the reader interested to find out more about what happened. Because you know what? Maybe after reading my story, somebody might say, wow, I might want to go there on vacation. And if I do go to Jamaica, this might be something I really want to do with my family. And so, really, boys and girls, the middle of the story is where most of your work happens. And so, today, when you're working on the middle of your story, and yes, you're going to come up with a different story today, you're still going to write the beginning, middle, and the end. But today, you're really going to focus on that middle where all those details are, that meaty part of your story. And when you open up your assignment deck for today, you'll have two more ideas of prompts that you could write about. You could write about a time you got mail. What was it? Was it a letter? Was it a package? Who was it from? Why did they send it? How did you feel when you got it? I don't know if you probably should taste anything, unless, of course, they sent you something edible, but you could describe what you see. You could describe the sound of ripping open the tape. So many ideas there. I'm getting excited myself to write a story. Or you could tell a story about a time you did something kind for someone. I bet you have lots of good stories there to tell. And again, you're still writing the beginning, the middle, and the end. Maybe today your story beginning is different. Maybe you start with a question. Maybe you start with the setting. But as you write today, now you're going to be thinking of all three goals that we've talked about this week. Does your story tell about something that happened in your own life? Can you write a beginning that will hook or grab the reader's attention? Can you ask questions before you write or during writing? Can you use your five senses to add information or details about what you saw, heard, tasted, felt? And again, you'll be looking for that feedback from your teachers when they look over your submission, and they'll be able to tell you, yes, they agree that you are meeting those goals in your writing, or almost, and I'm sure they'll leave you comments as well. So, boys and girls, today your focus is that middle of the story and really work hard to add what we call those details. Remember, those posters are there in your assignment to help you. And we can't wait to read your stories, as we know they're going to get meatier and more interesting as you keep on practicing. Keep up the great work, authors. Can't wait to read your narrative stories today. Have fun.